Hey, this is Mike Lowry. I am here with a new guitar review. This is a 2019 Gibson Les Paul Special Tribute DC, standing for Double Cutaway. Check my earlier video for a little information about how I ended up with this guitar in my hands right now, and then also find out what's becoming of this guitar. Right now, let's get down to taking a look at this guitar, seeing what we think of it. All right, so my first impressions of this guitar, as soon as I got it in my hands, was it's quite light. It's a great weight guitar if you are into a little lighter side of guitars. I would guess probably slightly over 6 pounds. Slab mahogany body, maple neck, which gets the thumbs up from me. I find, and I found playing this guitar a lot lately, that the maple necks seem to have a little more stability to them. As far as the neck shape, it is not as thin as a 60s, or at least not some of the 60s profiles that Gibson has had in the past. And it is definitely not as fat as a 50s. It's in the middle. I think they have tried to, find a middle ground that both people will be happy for having in their hands. It is, it's not going to chase away people that like thinner necks, which is what I like. I like thinner necks, and I feel pretty comfortable on this guitar, but it also doesn't feel as thin as, some of the Strats that I have. The controls, it only has one volume and it only has one tone. So it is more in line with a junior control-wise, but it has 2 pickups. And the other thing that I noticed first off was the finish, as well as the weight. The satin finish really stands out, and it's a nitro satin, but it feels like there is no wood filler in here, so it is not, it's not smooth like a lacquer finish. You can feel the divots and the natural grain of the wood, which is really, I think, kind of cool. And I'd like more guitars to have this, where you feel the natural grain of the wood. So wraparound bridge, I'm glad that they have, unlike the 50s, intonated it so that the 3rd string is intonated the way a unwrapped 3rd string should be intonated. And so it seems to play in tune pretty well. It came to me set up with 9s. I normally like a heavier string than that, but I've gotten used to the 9s. I'm not going to change them on this, because I just kind of wanted to review it as is, as it showed up. And I like it. It comes from the factory plecked, and you can tell because it's got some pretty nice fretwork, and there are definitely no dead spots. There's no buzzing. The lack of the binding on the side is something that happens with the Tribute model and the Tribute line, and I missed binding. Every Gibson I've had before has binding, and it's just kind of a Gibson thing in my head that Gibson binding. But you could get used to it. The dot inlays are fine. They go with the aesthetic of the guitar. The pickguard, I'm personally not so crazy about, because it's not a shape that was around in the 50s or 60s, or especially not the early 60s. So the late 50s, early 60s look that I kind of have in my head for the double cutaways and for the single cutaways, this pickguard kind of gets outside of that look. And so that's just kind of one thing that rubs me a little bit the wrong way, but that is totally personal preference. That doesn't affect the playability or the operation of the guitar. It's really a thing that some people may like the pickguard like this. So you can take that as just my own opinion and comment and fight me on that. And say I'm totally wrong, because it's really just total opinion and look for that. I like the tuners. I like the plastic look that they chose with these. It's a tribute. It's a throwback to to the 50s Juniors from the 1950s. I like that look. All right, so let's give it a listen. Just so you know, I'm playing through a Fender Princeton Reverb 10-inch speaker. It's been modded in the mid-range section, so it's a little bit honkier than a stock Princeton would be. So I am going to switch amps after playing a little bit and switch to a Fender Deluxe. So you can just hear the difference there. So you can judge what the amp is affecting as opposed to what the guitar actually sounds like. Here's a little bit of playing with the Fender Deluxe Reverb. Kick on the OCD. It's a pretty good guitar. I'd say it's worth the money. These are, selling used now, and you can pick one up at a pretty decent price. So for the money, it's a good guitar. My gripe is the pickguard. I do like having 2 volume controls, kind of a traditional Gibson thing, but I can also see the other side of it because I've played a Strat a lot, of having one just master control, master volume control. You turn it down, you turn it up. And so you get in that middle position, and it's pretty chimey sound in there, and overall a pretty good guitar. Thanks for checking it out with me.